What's up, guys? Benny. Remember that one time that our country lost its collective damn mind because a lifelong career criminal and fentanyl abuser had a cardiac arrest after committing crimes, and then the nation decided it would just be okay to allow our capital, Washington, D.C., to be taken over by terrorists and burned to the ground, which is precisely what happened. Here is the live shot broadcast on MSNBC of black smoke pouring through Washington, D.C. as the peaceful protesters decided to set the White House on fire. This is part of the White House grounds. This is a property on the grounds of the White House that was lit and set ablaze. You can see right here that the rioters are literally burning down the White House. This is what they intended to do. They wanted to attack violently President Trump and his administration. This is a true violent insurrection. We know this because we watched them literally try and attack and kill Rand Paul. I was actually like a couple feet away when this was happening. We were both leaving Donald Trump's speech at the RNC convention, and Senator Rand Paul barely escaped with his life. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the White House grounds. This is the peaceful protesters who tried to tear down the statue of Andrew Jackson outside of the White House because racism. They even burned churches outside of the White House. You can see here, this is St. John's Church. I mean, you've seen all this before, but, you know, you can see in this famous footage, St. John Church has been set ablaze. It's the most famous church in America. How it didn't get burned down entirely to kindling, this I do not know, but this was the insanity that we were dealing with at the time. Why are we going through all of this? You obviously know that this is something that happened in America, and the reason why I'm rehashing it is because I want to give context to who the FBI was kneeling to. Very important here. Because when BLM was doing this, when the Antifa rioters and the BLM terrorists were marching through Washington, D.C., torching our city to the ground, trying to assassinate our president, literally setting our most historic churches, monuments, and buildings on fire, including the White House, there were agents at the FBI that decided that their fealty would be to the terrorists. And they made that known by walking outside and pledging fealty to the terrorists. This, of course, the famous photo of the very doughy FBI agents, all of them, like, you know, white women, of course, who decided to get down on their knees and say, you know, these terrorist movements, they're our new masters. This is, of course, a total and complete humiliation for the FBI, and something that I said upon Kash Patel getting his nomination as director. I'll say it first. This is what we're all thinking. Her first. Fire her first. Set the tone. This did 7,000 reposts, 81,000 likes, and 6 million views. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it took a few months. I sent this on November 30th. But hot damn, here we are. FBI fires agents photographed kneeling during 2020 racial justice protest. Is that what they say? Is that what this is? Is that what this all was? This was a racial justice protest when the city of Washington, D.C. was set on fire and they were trying to murder the president. Got it. Got it. See how it works there? See how the revisionist history works there? Anyway, these are, of course, the rotund and humiliating and woke agents, FBI agents, who made sure to put on their little FBI tactical jackets, just in case you're wondering who they were, and kneel. This guy can't even kneel under his own power. He doesn't even have enough muscle tone to kneel by himself. He has to slump over on a barrier here, but they're all fired. Thank God. Here we go. The FBI agents have fired. The FBI has fired agents photographed during the racial justice protests in Washington, D.C., following the death of a fentanyl abuser from cardiac arrest. 3 people familiar with the matter said Friday. The Bureau last spring has reassigned the agents but has since now fired them, said the people who insist on anonymity to discuss the matter. The number of FBI agents terminated was not immediately clear, but people said it was roughly 20. The photograph at issue showed a group of agents taking a knee during one of the demonstrations following the May 2020 George Floyd overdose death. That led to a national reckoning over police and racial justice. It's the other way they write this stuff. I'm actually like writing it correctly for them. They're saying the May 2020 killing of George Floyd. That's not true. That's not what the autopsy says. I mean, like, this is the AP, you know? You'd assume they know this kind of stuff. Anyway, here we go. Let's continue on. We'll be here all day if I have to correct the copy here. Thank you, FBI Director Kash Patel. Please fire the person who hired her and allowed her to be an FBI agent. That's exactly right. Goodness gracious. FBI Director has fired all of the remaining George Floyd riot agents who are pictured kneeling here to a terrorist organization. Look at that. Oh, I love this guy. I love this guy clapping. I love how they all like carried their guns and badges and their little FBI jackets and vests. FBI fires agents who were caught kneeling during George Floyd protests. Yeah. See the difference between this article and this article? I need to tell my team, stop sending me these AP articles. I hate reading fake news to my team. They weren't kneeling during a racial justice protest. They were kneeling, pledging fealty to terrorists who are currently burning DC to the ground and attacking the life of the president. That's what they said on camera and in action. The Bureau last spring reassigned the agents, but has since fired them. Well done. The photograph showed a group of agents kneeling. There they are. And Kash Patel has done, again, a wonderful thing. 2020 George Floyd protesters. FBI has fired the agents who were photographed. Good riddance. These FBI agents who kneeled during BLM riots have been fired. Outsters finalized 24 FBI agents. The FBI Association calls the firings unlawful and a dangerous precedent. No, it's not. The dangerous precedent is pledging fealty to a terrorist organization inside of the place that's supposed to fight terrorism. I'm so delighted that these kneeling FBI agents got fired. Anyone celebrating criminals doesn't deserve to work for the taxpayers. That's exactly right. This is funny. Nearly all white women. That's exactly right. Great news. The FBI special agents were allowed to be political. Undermines the agency. That's exactly right. This is what I voted for. Hope these feds can code. Good job. Perfect. Everyone applauding and clapping. And this is the same week that the FBI has confirmed that there were 300 FBI agents or undercovers in January 6th. They fired a lot of the agents involved in January 6th. Beautiful thing. Charlie Kirk here at the time saying the FBI has fired 3 officials, including a former acting director who served in that role prior to the confirmation of Kash Patel. Forced out special agent who was involved in the investigation of Trump, Peter Navarro, Steve Jensen, who was in charge of the Washington field office. Cleaning house. Very good. Charlie Kirk approves. The new acting director, Brian Driscoll, was the command section chief who raided Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, good. Brian Driscoll, former acting FBI director who refused to carry out Trump administration plans, has been forced out. The dude who raided Mar-a-Lago, really? Kash Patel promised that he would expose FBI agents involved in January 6th, and he has made good on that promise. FBI considering mass purge of agents involved in the Trump investigation. They've done a great job of it. They have gone through and followed through. And you know what? We just like being right. So please follow us because we are often right. That's what we're all thinking. Yeah, actually, I just tweeted. Aged, sent 1 year ago, aged like fine wine. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Benny. See ya.